and focuses. So I wanted to kind of touch on the state of professional wrestling. But before that, we will recap Monday Night Raw. So we will do that quickly. Let's get into Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest getting their hands on Judgment Day. In particular, Dominik Mysterio and Liv Morgan. What do you guys make of that happening on Raw this past week? Getting physical and Dominik Mysterio giving his reasoning behind betraying Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest.
Well, at least storyline wise, it made complete sense. You know, I think Dom had said in the promo, and I'm thinking about it because it's so hilarious that like Liv gives him tendies. You know, which is actually a thing because I think I mentioned it was either Priest or Rhea in like a podcast. I mentioned that like everywhere they go when they were together, that all Dominik orders is chicken tenders. So I thought that was a little funny, but storyline wise, you know, it made complete sense. You know, she calls me daddy, and I'm a grown ass man calling a grown woman mommy. So storyline wise, it made sense. When Priest came out after, I think I saw a meme on social media that compared it to like AJ Styles and The Undertaker when they had their Boneyard match and Undertaker was standing behind AJ Styles. Yeah. And so I thought that was hilarious. The only thing that I'm not a huge fan of this is the fact that, and I think we just mentioned it, how they're calling Rhea and Damian the Terror Twins, which I don't like the name. I don't like the name. They're gonna have this tag team match coming up at Bash in Berlin, which honestly on paper looks like it should be a squash tag team match on paper. But it's gonna be a competitive. This whole story of the breakup of the Judgment Day and now the downgrade of the Judgment Day because you take away the two strongest members and now they're trying to repackage it as if like they're supposed to be more lethal now, but in actuality, they actually downgraded. But
they lost the two biggest members of their group, size-wise, height-wise.
The members that started the group. Yeah, but it's gonna be a very entertaining match at Bash of Berlin, though.
Yeah, that's.
Luch, you want to go next?
The segment was cool. It was funny, seeing Damian pop out and Rhea talking all her crap and like it was fun. I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of the mixed tag matches. I think they're a lot of times very predictable on who's gonna win. Obviously for this, I think it's gonna show Damian and Rhea's dominant, but Judgment Day is gonna come out and screw them, and it's just gonna continue. It's not gonna be a one and done. But they're getting their hits back. I like the backstage brawl. That was really good. It's funny because Rhea and Damian look like a perfect tag team. So like them just going against Judgment Day like works out great because they're obviously, like we just said, they're the two strongest, and now they're just trying to take out all of them. So it's just a team type thing. So who knows? Maybe they'll create their own faction and bring more people in. Who knows? I don't know where they're really going with all this. Besides Rhea and Liv going after against each other for the title, it's like, is it just Damian trying to get his hands on Finn and like that's it? I don't know. I'm just trying to see like where this is gonna build into a bigger story, I guess.
At some point.
Yeah.
But yeah, your thoughts, Ryan?
Yeah, I don't know. It was good for continuing the story. I thought it was pretty weird how like they came out, had the brawl, everybody dispersed, then came back out and brawled again. I was like, okay, guess we're doing that. It was good for continuing the story. It's gonna build up, obviously, Liv and Rhea, and then Damian and Finn. But like Brian was saying, you can't take this new Judgment Day serious. Like they got Finn. That's it.
That's what I feel too, because we like all the members of the group, right? With like Carlito and his comedy relief in the group has been a nice addition.
It was so needed.
Yeah. They needed something to change it up, especially after the R-Truth debacle, without that whole storyline went. But In terms of JD McDonough, who's a good hand in the ring, really hasn't had his own personality. He's kind of just mini Finn in that sense. And then you got Finn Balor, who's been world champion, has been elite, has had the work rate. Pretty much the only credible person in that group that you'll take seriously at this point in time. Like Liv Morgan being added to the group for Rhea Ripley, it's like that doesn't really work. I kind of would have liked for Dom and Liv to go their own separate route in a sense and do their own thing. But it looks like this is going to be happening. It's an intergender tag team match at Bash in Berlin out of nowhere. But it's happening. And of course, we're going to see Dominik Mysterio play up the chicken nuggets and tendies, and he gets to stay up and play video games all he wants. They're playing this angle with Dominik Mysterio. And of course, I've liked Dominik Mysterio over the past year with his work rate and just him growing as a character. And I thought this was going to be another step in his evolution. But we shall see, man. We shall see.
And growing the stash, too.
And that glorious mullet.
Literally at
so
Raw,
bad
everybody was saying shave his mustache. Shave his mustache. And I'm pretty sure that's going to be played into a little bit as well.
It's just so funny how he looks like a young Eddie.
He's Eddie. He's Eddie.
This generation's Eddie.
I don't care what Ray said. That is Eddie.
Like he's Eddie, man. That's all right, man. But let's keep moving on here to the main event. Actually, I wanted to get into this. Braun Breaker and Sami Zayn put on a classic 2 out of 3 falls match. Very hard hitting affair, kind of putting a stamp, I feel like, on this rivalry, right? Like Sami Zayn has no reason to go back after the Intercontinental Championship a third time, in my opinion. But what are you guys' thoughts on this match to end the night on Raw?
All right, Lewis, you can go first on this one.
So I only got like the highlights. I didn't get a chance to watch the whole match, but like we were talking a little bit before, just like, you know, it's kind of like an obvious ending, but Braun Breaker, you know, is killing it as champ. You know, obviously I like what they're doing with highlighting all these new guys that are coming in, and he's definitely one that's like, you know, he's just getting more star power, and, you know, giving him a 2 out of 3 falls just highlights more of what he can do in the ring. How fast, strong, you know, what is this in the motto you got, Brian? Mobile, agile,
hostile.
Literally, like that's. I love his intensity. I love when I first saw him in NXT, and now that he's like, you know, thriving on the main roster, you know, I'm really interested to see how long he's actually going to hold the title. Is it going to be like a full year? You know, I think he would definitely be one to, you know, you could catapult into the title scene pretty soon, especially against him versus like Gunther would be a great matchup. You know, he's a great.
Very few people that have pinned him.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah. And as far as Sami goes, you know, I feel like, you know, not like his time has passed, but like, I think we've all obviously wanted Sami to like win the big one. And I don't know if he'll ever get to that point again, but or if he's just going to stay in the mid card, but we'll see where he goes from this.
So I also agree with Lewis. Obviously, Braun Breaker is a beast. I mean, I don't need to repeat this week my mantra for him. Was, but one thing that I loved was before he came out when they do that little that little promo beforehand when they're walking to the ring, and how he pretty much was saying, you know, some people, when a lot of people do this, they talk about how great they are. I'm a man of a few words, and he really made it his own. And I love how he gave the that little shout out to the Pat McAfee, like, are there any dogs in the house, which goes to show that eventually when there is potential for him to turn babyface down the line. Obviously not right now, but if he eventually does turn, there's potential.
I mean, the crowd is treating him like a babyface.
That's what he's teetering. He's right on the line.
Yeah, he's like right there.
That if he wanted.
Yeah, right. No, because I remember when he was in NXT 2.0, that shitty time in NXT when they tried to book him as a babyface. I mean, he just came off very corny, and like they really tried to tie in his father in a storyline once, which came off kind of clunky. So if they're gonna have him continue to be this badass and present him this way, then when he becomes a babyface, he's going to be like one of the most over guys. Especially if the plan moving forward is for him to be the face of Monday Night Raw when they move to Netflix. But as far as the match goes, it was a great match. It was a great match. It was very, very hard hitting. I think Ryan had mentioned the spot where Bron threw Sami Zayn into the over the announce table into the timekeepers area, which literally looked like he literally like lawn darted him like he like it was like a competition or something. Loved the finish, even though it was kind of predictable in the end. As soon as he went to the top rope, we kind of knew like, yeah, he's gonna get caught. But it still was an entertaining match, and I'm actually looking forward to see like what's next for Braun Breaker, because I don't know if there are too many. I don't really know like the whole babyface hierarchy off the top of my head on Monday Night Raw, but I'm very curious to see like who he can match up with next.
Strap that rocket to his back. Keep sending him up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that match was just a good stamp on that little feud with Sami. Sami can go off and do his thing with Jay now.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what's next to him. But for the love of God, can we let him use the Steiner name? Can he just be Braun Steiner? Please.
I'm with you on that, because
why not?
I don't think he wants to use the name.
Yeah, I saw him talk about it. He said that his own thing.
But it's like, it's so perfect. Just use it.
It's exactly like his uncles.
It has so much great lineage behind it with Rick and Scott. So it's like, just use it. Just use it. And the one critique I have, bring back the sirens in his music, please. That's the only thing I know. The sirens are so cool when he's there. Like, just
and the chainmetal.
It's so badass. I know it shades to Scott Steiner, Big Papa Pump, but it's like, bring it back. It's so cool. Bring that back. And I know they're doing this whole thing with this new music in WWE, but don't change the stuff that's already good. Just leave it.
Yeah, they're trying too much with the music.
Yeah, music has not been good in a while.
AJ Styles, Carlito, like just
Daniel, I think you need to give AJ Styles his new theme a second chance. It's not that bad.
It's not happening.
No, his original hit like the last
one. Like that's what he came in WWE with back in 2016. It doesn't need to go anywhere. Just keep using it. It works phenomenal. It's phenomenal. All right. We don't need a rock version of that.
The day they change Randy's music, that's when we all right.
Oh no, we're
no. The good people of France have made it official that they're not going to change that song anytime soon.
No, not anytime soon, man. Let's keep moving on here. Speaking of Randy Orton and Gunther face off, and apparently Randy Orton's just on Raw now, out of nowhere, right? Because of this title match that he has with Gunther coming up at the Bash in Berlin, of course, extending their match feud from King of the Ring, where Randy Orton's shoulder was up. Continuing this, what do you guys make of this face off between Randy Orton and Gunther, and of course the calling out of Drew McIntyre and CM Punk, alluding to a match with Drew McIntyre?
Well, actually, Ron, you want to take this one first, since me and Lewis went first the last two?
Yeah. I get it, but like, I think it's just like time filling, because Drew and CM Punk are busy. You could have did the whole rematch with Damian Priest, but he's got his own thing going on with Judgment Day now. So, oh yeah, we had that thing with Randy Orton we can bring back up. Okay, I get it. But the CM Punk and Drew McIntyre thing can go on forever, and I'll just keep loving it. It's so incredible. Never stop it.
Yeah, might as well. I mean, like I said, they've been going at it since January, so you might as well just keep it going and make it a full.
And it's much-watched TV every single time they're at it.
You know, it's definitely going to go till Bad Blood, because that's like written in the freaking name, like the feud.
Yeah, and I think they alluded to on Raw because Punk whipped Drew with the belt, that they might go strap match in Berlin.
And I'm like, it just brings back to him and MJF in AEW with the dog collar match.
Oh yeah,
with the King. So I'm like, it's all full circle for CM Punk. But now, as I said, Randy and Gunther, a match on paper that should be a banger, right? Like those two guys, especially with Randy bringing up that he's a legend killer and everything like that, and Gunther has been bringing this prestige back to the title that he's been on with this ring general. And his Intercontinental title reign is just like, that's going to be a great match. It's something that I do feel like it needs to be finished up. Would I have preferred Damian Priest and Gunther rematch? Of course. But of course, with all the branching storylines from that match and from SummerSlam, it makes sense that Randy Orton's in this spot. As for Gunther and Drew, CM Punk and Drew, a strap match between those two, just out of nowhere, it's a stipulation, right? Like, how did we escalate to a strap match, right? Like, no, but it's going to be interesting to see where they go with that storyline. Obviously, it's going to be a strap match because why else would CM Punk bring out a belt? Trying to get back. Trying to get back his family bracelet. And the principle behind it, which I guess is a good storyline, but him and Drew have been going at it so long that it's like, just keep going. We'll take anything. As long as we're getting more CM Punk in the ring. That's the one thing that we always want to get, because we waited so long for him to get back from that injury from the Royal Rumble. So to finally have him in the ring is good to see, and especially that match at SummerSlam was good. But I also want to talk about, obviously, another guy that's making an impact on Raw that took out Seth Rollins, Bronson Reed, Lewis's guy that Lewis has been championing for a year now to give Bronson Reed the opportunity, even when he was all the way back in NXT. Bronson Reed basically taking out what you want to say, the veterans of Raw, Seth Rollins last week, and that
is he the new legend killer?
That whole new promo with Michael Cole and Pat McAfee, and that whole promo, and WWE does some of its best work with that stuff there, showing the impact of Bronson Reed, going with that. But recently just battled with Adam Pearce, and of course everyone's kind of saying with Adam Pearce, like, why are you just getting this guy steamroll you? You're the general manager, do something. But he's taking out The Miz, he's taking out Seth Rollins, he squashed R-Truth thousands of times on Raw, so kind of repeating that. But what do you guys make of Bronson Reed and where this can potentially go?
Well, there's only one place to start. Go ahead, Lewis.
Finally. I don't know. It's just great. I feel like it's crazy because I feel like this kind of came out of nowhere. Because what was he? He was feuding with was it like Sheamus and...
Yeah, he was in the middle of that whole Sheamus and Butch thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was Pete Dunne. We don't need to say Butch again. Pete Dunne, my bad.
Exactly. It just alluded like he was just gonna be in some other random like feud, and I don't know where they just finally. It's like they pulled the trigger, and I was like, this guy is massive. He's strong. That his finisher is amazing. Like, how are we not doing more with him? And they finally did it. And the fact that, you know, they literally just can't stop him off the top rope. I don't know why nobody's just like, let me just stand in front of him. Maybe he'll not jump on me or a ref or something. But the fact that he's just like literally just squashing people. So I'm really curious to see who his actual like first, because he's literally took out Seth, who was like coughing up blood, which was a nice touch unless that was real. But and then does the same thing to Miz and R-Truth, is like, who's he actually going to go against? Or is he just going to get like one of these guys and just squash the hell out of them? But this is how you build stars, and this is how they got to do it. At least with him and his size and his strength, is just like, you have it all there, you know? So
that man needs to be in jail for what he did to R-Truth. R-Truth is a national treasure.
I know, I'm an R-Truth guy.
Does not need to be harmed like that. It's not right.
Oh, man. It's just funny because it's like no one rolls out the way, no one moves the person. They just leave the person there to just get squashed 20 times.
Hey, they did pull R-Truth a little bit back, you know, so he couldn't reach him.
They moved him to the other side of the ring.
Yeah.
I'm in this corner.
We got better lighting over here.
I will say this. I will say this much about the attack on Seth Rollins. Michael Cole sold it so well especially when he went up for like number 4 or 5 and 6, just like yelling at all the police, like, why are you guys not stopping him? Why get somebody out here? Like, it really added to the moment and really showing how dominant, like destructive this guy is. And it did kind of come out of left field because he was in the middle of feuding with Sheamus, but it was needed because we needed because. Outside of on Raw, outside of the Judgment Day and Gunther, I mean, who else really was getting like featured consistently weekly? It was time for them to elevate somebody, and it's about time because we've been sitting around waiting for Bronson Reed to show up for the longest time, or waiting for them to give him an opportunity. And like this is the most Bronson Reed has done since he won the NXT. As far as like relevance goes, so glad he's finally getting an opportunity. I'm interested. Honestly, I think he should go after Randy next because it makes sense. Call himself the new Legend Killer.
That would be an interesting storyline.
It's just interesting because we thought he was going to be on that Intercontinental title path when he was brawling with Chad Gable and Gunther. He had that great match with Gunther, going back and forth with that. And it's just like, what is this guy doing? Is he just in the holding pattern until either Gunther dropped the IC title at that point in time? But it's like, now it's gone. It's been on Sami for a while. Is he going to be in a match soon with Braun Breaker? I don't see them doing that because that's heel versus heel at this point in time. But that's something I would definitely want to see. But it's just good to see something happening with Bronson Reed at this point in time because it's like his size, he moves well in the ring, he's a good wrestler, and it's like, nah, man, you got to do something with this guy, and it finally looks like they're going to push the button to push him to the moon, apparently. So, good stuff for him. I can't wait to see what's going on and see how this continues weekly. It looks like he's just going to continue to take out veterans at this point in time until he gets a credible opponent. So, can't wait to see what happens with that. Let's continue moving on here. We got Odyssey Jones potentially joining the New Day, right? Odyssey Jones has kind of come out and helped Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston against the Final Testament. So what do you guys think about that and this whole play of Xavier Woods kind of being hesitant to accept Odyssey Jones?
Well, to me, this story was all just based upon like, okay, is Big E done for good or not? Now he said in interviews that like he's kind of letting his neck heal naturally, and he doesn't know if he's ever going to wrestle again or not. I mean, I wonder if they're at the point right now where it's just like, okay, he's never coming back. Let's just move. He's never coming back. Let's just move on. But I like the fact that they're finally telling the story with the New Day, because they've been together for what? Has it been over a decade? Probably the one group where it's like they're together for this long, and they're still as over as they were when they first came together. They're still getting the New Day Rocks chants every time they came out. I honestly, their act is just like a part of the WWE universe now, where it's like, when people see them, it's just always gonna be that babyface reaction. So I like the fact that they're finally gonna cause a rift with having Odyssey Jones in. First of all, I thought Odyssey Jones was initially released. I didn't even know he was still signed with the company because I remember he had gotten drafted like last year, and then you never heard from him again. So I will say this much: that impact, picking up both Akam and Razor in both arms is. I mean, the sight itself is impressive. Only thing I didn't like about this is the fact that it had to be AOP. Because obviously when I think of them, I think of them being booked strong and not being booked in a scenario where they're getting manhandled. But aside from that, love how they're finally telling this story of possibly the New Day breaking up. Or it might not even be a breakup. It could just be the fact that Xavier Woods is thinking, yeah, you added him to the group, but you didn't really like ask for my input. I mean, Kofi kind of just brought him out of nowhere without doesn't even seem like he even talked to Woods about it. And like Big E is their brother, so that's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, and it's funny though because like with the whole Karrion Kross thing, it's like they've been throwing all these breadcrumbs of like, hey, look, Kofi only cares about himself. You know, you need to go out and do your own thing. And like from the beginning, you're like, this isn't really going anywhere. But then you slowly start seeing the things like, oh, Kofi's out here making matches and just throwing himself. Oh no, I'm gonna wrestle tonight. You stay out. And he's like, you see him getting like frustrated, and now seeing him bringing other people into the New Day without even talking to him. It's just like, so what does that mean? Is just Xavier gonna leave the New Day? If he joins New Testament? I think that's gonna be kind of dumb. But is he finally just gonna be on his own? What does it mean? Is it over for the New Day after this, or is it just is Kofi? They gonna start their own new group, like rebrand the New Day? So there's a lot of ways that they can go about it. But I'm really curious to see when they're actually gonna pull the trigger, or if they're even gonna go that route. But if they do, I think it would still be. It would still make a big impact because, like I said, like we've said, they've been together for so long that to actually see it happen is going to be kind of crazy.
Are we finally going to see the final testament? What a feud!
Please, I'm actually a huge fan of AOP too.
I'm a big like Karrion Kross deserves like they just got to use him right, and I think he'd be a big star. But like, yeah, I'm interested to see how they swing this New Day story because it was very clear that Xavier was disgruntled on Monday. So, are they going to do a heel turn? Are they going to work it out? What do you do with Xavier? He's not going to. You can't. Do you put him in the final testament? Does he go on a singles run? Like, I don't. Then what happens with Kofi and Odyssey? They tag team now. Like, I don't know. I want to see what happens. I'm intrigued by it. Let's see where it goes.
Yeah, definitely tea leaves because the New Day have been together since what? Since SummerSlam was in Brooklyn, like 2012 or so.
But it's been a minute, yeah.
It's been like 12 years, so so that's been a very, very long time. So to see Xavier Woods, who we've all thought could have had a potential, single run. We all remember that King of the Ring run he had. Him being in the mid card is something that would be good for him. We saw Kofi Kingston's a Hall of Famer. He's done everything. If he tags with a new young comer, Odyssey Jones, I'm not against that. But Xavier Woods has been a guy that we kind of always wanted to see be on his own, kind of do something else. So if this is the end of the New Day or a pause on the New Day to set up the reformation down the line, I'm with that. I'm fine with that. But Xavier Woods is definitely given I'm not comfortable with this vibes, and I think it's part of it. Either they're going to break it up where he's like, yo, you guys have been taking advantage of me. I don't really have a say. I've always been like the charming guy in the back of the background of the New Day and stuff like that. But this could be something that, hey, this guy's not Big E. That's the original three that we've had here. And I don't want to break that up. So that could be another angle. You replace him with another big athletic black guy like Big E. So it's like, I can see where he's like, yo, I don't like this change and stuff like that. So I'm definitely interested to see where it goes, man. But Xavier Woods always watching up, down, down. So we'll see what happens with that, man. But definitely interested. I don't even know if I should touch on this next subject here, but Pure Fusion Collective. And I know I said, I'm going to start this off because I know I said last week that I thought this had more leg room depending on how it was booked more than the Wyatt Six, because I'm like, the Wyatt Six is just basically.
Don't say it, bro. Don't say it. No, because I'm still trying to get over the fact that you made that fucking comment and compared the Wyatt Six to that group, because that was so disrespectful.
I was saying in the women's division right now, because we didn't know what Damage Control was doing. Asuka's on the back burner. KC2's kind of in the mix a little bit, but I'm like, this collective talent where Sonya Deville can be the talking point, the voice of this group. I thought it can be something. That's what I initially said. I thought this could be something. And to sit there and get the name Pure Fusion Collective, I can't take back what I said, but I am regretting what I said.
Is it that's why you listen to the voice of reason? What did I say from the very beginning? From the very beginning, this group is not going anywhere.
Yeah, you shitted on them the moment they came together. Yeah,
they're just not. Honestly, they would all be better off on their own. All these female factions, they're just not all of them are going to hit. And Shayna Baszler has been a part of like 6-7 tag teams and like it's all the same. It's all the same. And I'm like, another faction. I'm like, they're not going to go anywhere. They'll probably win the titles at some point, but it's not going to be impactful. You know, if they really wanted to, they would have had them just literally take everybody out and just go forward. But off rip, they're already losing. Damage Control beat them with with one person down.
That's what. Yeah, Damage Control only has 2 people right now.
And they still beat them in matches, so it's like,
I don't know.
time has passed.
I mean, this is complete. This is ridiculous, and I think it was a couple of weeks ago when I finally gave up on the group, because it's like, you know, you come together, you know, you take out the Damage Control, which was the top group on Raw. And you would have thought that was going to be the beginning of something, the beginning of them showing dominance and showing that they're a threat to all the women on the roster. But then within a matter of 2 weeks, one of their members loses a one-on-one match. So it's like, so how are we supposed to be taking them seriously? How are they supposed to be a threat? Now when Damage Control came back, now the thought is, okay, well, if they already lost, I mean, do we really think that Damage Control is gonna lose against them? And now Damage Control goes down one member, like you guys just said, and now Pure Fusion Collective still can't win. So it's like, Daniel, we put too much hope on this. We should have just we shouldn't have even mentioned it. We should have just let it play out and then had our opinions.
Because I can't forget the past, right? Because Shayna Baszler, that 2-year run as NXT Women's Champion, I can't forget that. And I always hope that there's something there, and there isn't. It's done.
Time has passed.
And you want to know what they should do with this group? They should send them to NXT. That's what they should do.
That's where they belong.
Yeah.
Where they restart stars or send them to NXT, man.
NXT has too much going on right now, bro. There's like this with TNA, and then they got their athletes that they're training, and then they got the other people that they bring in. Like they got too much kinds of talent down at NXT. Like
as long as you say NXT doesn't need to be 3 hours or anything like that. There's enough wrestling during the week.
I can't keep up with
it. I can't keep up with it.
I wouldn't be surprised if they thought about doing that, though.
But with that being said, let's continue to move on here. I wanted to take a moment here because we always do the recaps and stuff like